Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PokePath. I'm your host. My name is Vince. Basically, I want to introduce you to my channel. So, I want to cover some things just going on in the Pokemon world here. Today's episode, of course, we're going to focus on finding deals within the exploding Pokemon market that's going on right now. I'm sure you guys have seen one of the thousands of videos that says the Pokemon market's going crazy, like, everything's exploding. Surging Sparks is like sold out. You can't get your hands on it. And then there was the EV Prismatic that's coming out in January, and that sold out like almost immediately on the Pokemon Center website, which is crazy. I was lucky enough; I was online at the time. I was able to get four, but I didn't realize that like it would eventually get limited to two, and then like now you can't even order it. So that was pretty crazy. That all happened within like a day. So uncharted territory for the world of Pokemon, but it doesn't mean that principles from past booms can't be applied to this one. And so I just kind of want to cover like one of my main strategies with Pokemon is to look where nobody else is looking at the time. So right now all eyes are on like those newer sets, and everybody's like obsessed with the brand new shiny object. So we have to figure out ways to swerve and readjust how we're looking at things so we can utilize our funds to the max. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my first card I'm looking at, Blaziken VMAX from Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest I think is a definitely was an underrated set. People were like upset to like get Silver Tempest like packs in things, and honestly I think it's a pretty good set, and the Blaziken cards in this set are pretty amazing. This is my favorite one, and it's under $10. Like TCG Player, you get it for $8.78. eBay $10.31. You can get it easily under $10 on eBay too. I've seen it. And that actually brings me to my next thing. Also, look at other avenues of buying cards. I know ComC was big during the COVID boom, but not so much for Pokemon cards. And I've found so many great deals by going on there. For example, I know people buy from ComC on eBay, but you're paying a higher price to do that. So, like on eBay, you're paying $35, $36. Like, so for example, I bought a Flareon, the promo card, and it was $36 listed on eBay. Buy it now, and there was 3 watchers, and I was able to purchase it on ComC where it was originally listed. So what ComC does is they'll take that listing that you have there and also put it on eBay, but mark up the price so they make some profit on it too. And they can cover shipping and all that stuff. But on ComC, I was able to get it on sale from the guy who listed it there for $28. And when people list a sale on ComC, that price doesn't get reflected on eBay. So I was able to get it $8 cheaper just by going directly to the source. Now, given there's some other intricacies to get into with ComC, and that you have to pay for your shipping back once you have enough cards and whatever, but that's for another day. The whole point is look where other people aren't necessarily looking. I've had some good success on ComC. People say, "Oh, people only send junk cards there." I know that's not the case because I've gotten cards graded and I've gotten 9s. I got a 10. For those of you who know the sports world, I got an SGA Blue Velocity rookie card. I purchased on there for like $45, or might have been even less than that back in the day, and it got a PSA 10, and that's worth over $200. So people who say, "Oh, it's people only send junk cards," that's not true. I have personal experience that says otherwise. But again, back to the cards. So this Blaziken, just looking at like we're seeing it, it's slowly dipping down, and it's starting to level off. I think it's a great card to look at. We can take a look at some of the other cards in the set. Of course, Lugia V Rayquaza. Like, I don't know if it's going to get to this level, and that Rayquaza VMAX. If this were a under $50 episode, this card would definitely be on there. But I can't give away all my content in one episode. But yeah, I mean, this is the best. I mean, there's both of them are really cool. Honestly, dealer's choice on this one. I was debating between the TG15 Blaziken and the TG14. I went with the 15 just because I kind of like it a little more. But honestly, they're both really cool, so I would buy either of those. And I think they should be $20 cards in my mind. I'd take those over this Lugia, and that's sitting at 25. I'd definitely take it over this Unknown. I'd take it over this Reggie Drago. Like, I think it's just undervalued. I think part of it's because there's two cards, one the V and the V Max, and they're both really good artworks, and so I almost feel like they're cannibalizing each other in this case. But definitely take a look at those cards. Super cool. And again, it's one of the starter Pokemon. It was a fairly popular starter Pokemon. I remember it was my starter Pokemon, my go-to in that generation. So definitely take a look. I think you're gonna have a lot of people looking at that card. Next, just in terms of incredible artwork, and that's very unique. It stands out, and it's a cute Pokemon, which cute Pokemon sells. Can't beat that. So Deerling, you can see from this chart, it is slowly climbing. Well, first it was like, it was very slow, and then it leveled off, and now we're starting to see like TCG Player, like as of today, almost at $12. You still get it raw on eBay. You still get it some other places for under 10, but keep an eye out. If you can get this card under 10, I would honestly even buy it at 12. Like, this is another card I could easily, for me, this should be a $25, $30 card. Just because between this and the Sawsbuck, like the two together, I'm a sucker for those cards that make an overall scene. Now, they're not the most popular Pokemon, but I mean, I can't think of an artwork that I like better right now than these two. And Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces as a set is kind of I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Walking Wake, Raging Bolt, Iron Crown. I love the Ghastly. Personally, I would rather have the Ghastly than any of these. And I'd rather have the Deerling and Sawsbuck than pretty much everything but the Ghastly. Maybe the Morty's conviction, but not a huge fan of that one either. I mean, I am, but it's not like... in my mind, the Ghastly, the Deerling, and the Sawsbuck are the best ones in the set. I think people are going to slowly realize those are the best artworks in the set, and you're going to see those climb. Ghastly's already climbing. I bought two last week for $20, and it's already at $25. So you can see how quickly things move. If you're in the market, definitely take a look. Grab these cards. I mean, I'm convinced that they're going to be double the price fairly quickly. So pick up a pair. I don't know. I always like to pick up two. That way I can sell off one, and then usually the profits from the one I sold, covers the cost of the copy I keep. Sometimes I do three if I'm really convinced. For example, I have 5 or 6 copies of the Moltres, Articuno, Zapdos promo card where it's the it's like the stained glass looking thing. I'm like, that's such a cool card, and it was so cheap at the time. Originally I bought 3 copies at $6.60, and then I bought a couple more copies as it started climbing because I'm like, I love this card and I know it's going to go higher. So definitely, if you have the means to, buy multiple copies. In this case, where it's under $10, you really can't go wrong. Even if it drops 50%, you lost $5. And you didn't even lose because you're holding it. And I think long term, any investment in Pokemon is a good one. Now, Loudred, not a super popular Pokemon, but it has 2 things going for it, I think. 1, the artwork is amazing. 2, there's not a whole ton of Loudred cards that come out. It's not a Pokemon you see of often. I completely forgot about it until I saw this card, and I was like, I love that. I need to buy it. It's got this cool comic book pop art type style that's not very common. So, I mean, I had to grab it. I have 2 copies of this one again, following my rule there. But you can see it's kind of started out low, and it slowly climbed a little bit, and now it's kind of settled up at this $8-9 range. But with the way the market's headed, as people start looking around for deals like we are now, I can't see them passing up this card. It's just too cool of a card, I think. Paradox Rift as a set, I think, is amazing, and that's going to continue to climb. We won't look at that set overall, but it's continuing to climb along with everything else. And there's a popular saying in the markets that rising tide raises all boats. Some, of course, get raised more than others in when it comes to the stock market, Pokemon cards, things like that. But I mean, this Loudred, super cool card. Definitely look to pick one up at 851 or 828. Yeah, you can't beat that deal. Next, from Paldea Evolved, we have the Marill. And honestly, this goes kind of follows my same pattern of thinking with the Deerling and the Sawsbuck. Cute Pokemon. It's in a like earlier generation Pokemon that was headed, it's cute, so it had a decent following. And of course, cute Pokemon sell. So on eBay, you can get it for $11.70. TCG Player $10.88. So it's a little over our $10 range, but I'm pretty sure you could find it under 10 if you really needed to. Just keep an eye out there. I find some deals all the time. I haven't checked ComC, but maybe we'll take a look at the end and see if we can find it. But yeah, as you can see, slowly and steady gains. I love to see slow and steady gains because it doesn't mean like there's a huge bubble or anything. Like, it's just that less Paldea, I think, is being ripped right now. As we get further away from that set, like printing, or like less and less, it's getting less popular, right? So like we're seeing less of that product opened. And this Marill is slowly climbing, and it's going to continue climbing, I think, just because the artwork is so unique, and it's a cute Pokemon. If you can get it for $10, get it for $10. I don't think you'll regret it. And then, like, honestly, this is one thing I love to look at too. What is a PSA 9 value versus PSA raw copy? At 9, it's pretty much $25, and if you can get it for $10, and like let's say you grade it for 15, or I think is it GameStop 15 or 16, like if you get a 10, boom. If you don't, like, you're pretty much broke even on that anyway. So like these are perfect examples of what I look for when I'm looking to grade, because more likely than not, a modern card's gonna get a 9, but in the case that you get a 10, you're hitting it big, and that completely offsets if you get like an 8 or something like that. Just 110 is going to offset 10, like, I don't even know, a bunch of 9s and even a bunch of 8s, because those 8s you could always crack and just resell it raw, worst case, but then you're down 15. But always look for these arbitrage opportunities, like $15 difference between raw and 9, like perfect, grade it, and hopefully you get a 10, you make some money on that. All right, next, Miss Mages. Again, Paldea Evolved. Like, I think, again, it's an underrated set. Everybody's, like, always chasing the most, like, sparkly, shiny new thing, but, like, Paldea is a great set. The Raichu, I think, is super underrated. That's kind of fallen back to earth. I think I bought a copy at around this price a few months ago, and it got up to $40-something. I sold it, and I'm looking to buy that again, too, but, like, great illustration rares. I think this Miss Magus, I'd rather have it like over this Malhold. It's pretty close. That and the Marill. I love the Sudowoodo too. But honestly, like, I think it could be a $20 card just because it's a popular it's not a popular Pokemon, but very unique artwork. And honestly, it gives me like kind of Gengar vibes, and it being a ghost Pokemon, same colors and stuff like that. I could see Miss Magus being a more popular Pokemon in the future. And if you like collecting spooky Pokemon, you can't pass this one up. I think this is a stellar artwork. I bought a bunch when it was like for around $6 a few months ago. We're already up to about $9. So it's been a slow, steady climb, which again, you like to see, because if things spike up big, you don't want to buy it then, because there's a good chance the floor could fall out too. I know some people are saying, like, well, we're only going up from here, we're in a bull market. Yeah, everybody says that until all of a sudden you're at the end of the bull market and that card you bought for $200 is halved and now it's $100 or even worse. Low risk on these cards. I think under $10 range is such a great range to be in. Growlithe kind of goes, again, with the thinking that popular Pokemon, I mean, Growlithe is a first-generation Pokemon, given this is like the variant of it, and I think it's Hisuian. I barely pronounce it. I don't even think I'm pronouncing it right, so correct me in the comments. But early generation Pokemon or variant of, very cute, cool artwork, and it goes along with another card, the parent in the set, to complete like a full image. You can't beat that, I think. I'm a sucker for that. I think that's very cool. And again, the prices, people early on were very hype on this card. Like pre-orders, I think like it looks like it was up to 25, TCG player 15, and then it's been slowly downhill since then. Like, man, I wish I would have been looking when it was 579. I should have bought a couple, but we're slowly starting to tick up. I think all these cards that are listed today are going to go up. It's just a question of how much. Definitely take a look. And I honestly think within Twilight Masquerade, people are obsessing over the set. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I love the EV, of course. I remember like on pre-release, I think you get it for like 26, and I was like, oh, I should get that, and then I never did, and I regret it. But there's a lot of cool artworks in this one, and I think the Growlithe, I would take it over a lot of the cards, that are valued over it. I don't like the Ogerpons. I know they're useful in the TCG, so that's why, but I mean, I honestly like it better than the Ursaluna. I'm not a huge fan of that. But yeah, as I think these sets get opened up less and less, and as prior to reprints and everything, I think these cards are definitely going to climb. All right, next one, Deoxys V-Star. So this one's a little further back. We're going to go back to Crown Zenith here. This one, what it's got working for it, legendary Pokemon, great artwork, deadly combination Pokemon. And nobody's looking at it. Again, all these cards are listed here because nobody's really looking at them. And, it's kind of starting to bottom out here. And I think only way to go but up. And at $10, take that deal. Not as much of an arbitrage opportunity if you try to go for PSA 10. Like this is only $8. So if you go, like, let's say you get $15, $16 to grade it, you get a 9, you kind of lost, a decent chunk of change there. So maybe avoid that. But definitely see if you can pick up a couple copies. Hold on to them. I think they will definitely be going up in the future. This is my favorite card, honestly, all 10. If you only had to pick one to buy, it would be this Pikachu. I know the one reason it's gone down, one Crown Zenith, like the print rates and the pull rates for this Pikachu were crazy. So I know if you were just going off of looks, you'd be like, this is the card, right? But apparently it's fairly common to pull. But I think as we move further and further away from Crown Zenith, again, same thing. This card is going to become more desirable. We have more and more people getting into Pokemon by the minute, by the day. So more people, less supply. This card's going to go up. I could easily see this being a $30, $40 card within a couple years. I don't like to speculate time frame because things can change, but this obviously could be a winner in Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith is such a great set. There's so many cool cards, but I think because of that, this card and the pull rate, it does get overlooked. God, it's an amazing set. But we'll continue. Last one, Zamazenta V. So again, legendary Pokemon, great artwork, Crown Zenith. That has honestly, I kind of want to pick up some sets of Crown Zenith, some booster boxes, because I forgot how good it was. And then when you look at it, it's just all the way down the line, it's a great set. Yeah, I mean, Zamazenta kind of follows the same thing as all the cards on this list. They've been fairly steady, if just slightly falling down. And again, I think just the rising tide is gonna raise these as people start to look to other different ways to take advantage of the Pokemon market. They're going to shift towards these lower end Pokemon cards right now because it's getting very expensive. So definitely take a look. Feel free. That's it. That's all I got for today. But comment, subscribe, like if you liked it. Criticize. What do you have to say? Are there cards you think I should take a look at? Or are there cards that you think are a better investment opportunity? Let me know. Just feel free to rip me to shreds. I don't really care. But just like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see in the future. Thanks.